Hello, everybody. StraightA here with myself, Dawson.
Ryan.
Treythan.
I'm Ben.
And we're here with our NFL Week 1 predictions for the schedule. So basically, we're going to go through game by game and kind of give our thoughts about who's going to win, who's going to lose, and we're going to keep this record throughout the season. See who the best one is, just showing and flaunt our NFL knowledge right up here. Make some hot takes about weekly games, upsets, stuff like that. So we're going to go game by game and give our thoughts and opinions from those and go from there. First of all, we got the season opener with the Lions at Chiefs. Personally, I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a fun game. I don't have high hopes for my Lions. I think the Chiefs are taking it home.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love the Lions. I don't think you can hate the Lions as bad as they've been historically. They look like a great team. I have them winning the NFC North. But that's just the perennial powerhouse right now is the Chiefs. And I don't see. I think maybe not a close game. I think it'll be maybe a 2-score game, like a 10-point game. But I still got the Chiefs.
Yeah. Chiefs over Lions. I mean, no doubt.
I think that this will be a very competitive game. First game of the year. Detroit's offense is pretty high powered, a little bit high octane, so to say. I don't think it's quite enough to beat the Chiefs, but it'll be a close game. However, I will say if you are looking for someone to start in your fantasy lineups out of this game, defenses, it's Thursday night. It's always slow on a Thursday night. You will reap the rewards.
All right.
Who was it you said start?
Either
Defense.
specifically the Chiefs defense, but you wouldn't start a defense against the Chiefs offense. But Chiefs defense, that'll get you some points.
I agree with you. What you said, it'll be a competitive game. I think it'll definitely be more competitive watching it than it will be like on the final stat column because like I said, I think it'll be a 10-point game, which I mean it's kind of close but not really. But I think watching the game, I think it's going to be a very competitive game. It's opening game of the year. Chiefs wanting to come out, show they're still dominant after the Super Bowl win. They don't have a Super Bowl hangover. Lions come out, they got something to prove. They didn't make the playoffs last year. They were on the verge of it. But I still, like I said, the Chiefs.
You're saying bet the spread for the Chiefs.
It's a
Yeah.
negative 2.5,
For
right?
that game, 7 points.
6.5.
6.5.
I'd bet it.
They cover it. I will say, if this
I
wasn't
would
the
give it
season
to
opener.
Detroit. I think Detroit will cover that.
Interesting.
Really?
Okay. Interesting. I do think that if this wasn't the season opener, I'd actually really consider picking the Lions here, just for Super Bowl hangover reasons. I feel like, but it's season
See-
opener. I can't see it.
We also run the thing like the Chiefs struggled at the start of last year. Like you look at their first 4 games, were they 1-3 or like 2-2 or something?
2-2 last year, 1-3 the previous year, I believe.
Yeah, they struggle early on, but I still think they'll beat the Lions.
Especially with that defense or the
Yeah.
Lions defense. I think it's a good matchup for the Chiefs. Moving on to our second game, so we all agree there. Titans at Saints, and I'm going against the spread here. I think the Titans are going to take the first victory here in the week 1. Saints are favored to win. I think by negative 2.5 when I checked it. I like this. I like this game a lot. I think it's a really even place game. Both teams have a lot to prove, but I think the Titans are going to come to New Orleans and take the win.
I'm taking the Saints over the Titans in week 1.
Interesting.
It's just, I don't know. Even that, and it's going to be a close game regardless. That 2.5 spread, but I don't have much faith in Tannehill still. I mean, I'm not saying he's bad, but I don't think he's going to go in week 1 against the Saints and do something magical.
I agree. I'm a Titans fan, and so I hate to say this, but I think the Saints. I really wish we had assigned or extended Dobbs' contract. I think Dobbs would have been a good fit for that Titans offense. I know we did draft Will Levis. I don't see anything spectacular out of his future. I don't see anything spectacular out of Tannehill, obviously. And I just don't see them beating the Saints. I think it'll be a close game, a competitive game, but I think it's the Saints.
This is a game that, if you are not a fan of either of these teams, I will not recommend you to watch it. I think it's going to be a very grimy, rough, defensive showdown with a total of 25 points. It's going to be rough and rowdy, very defensive. With that said, I think the Titans will take it because that is where they thrive. That is Mike Vrabel football. He runs it down your throat, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's not much else to say there. I think the Titans will take it pretty close, 13-10.
All right, simple and to the point. I like it. Next up, we got Buccaneers at Vikings. I see no surprises here. Of course, everybody saying the Buccaneers at my 14th spot. I should take them here, but I think they're gonna take the loss to the Minnesota Vikings at Minnesota.
I don't disagree. Buccaneers, they're the worst team in a terrible division. So it's not looking great for them as far as the outlook on the season goes. Vikings, obviously, they lost last year in the playoffs. They're coming back. They're wanting to prove that they can contend to go to an NFC championship or even the Super Bowl. Will that happen? I don't know, but I don't see the Buccaneers overcoming that high-powered Vikings offense that's just been reinvigorated with Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Vikings over the Bucks. I was saying it earlier, they got Baker, and Baker is not Brady. I think the Vikings really exposed the Bucks without Brady in Week 1, and they just take the one. I mean, it's a 2.5 point. I'd bet the Vikings, and
It's only 2.5 points spread.
yeah.
Wow.
This is definitely about a 10-point game for the Vikings. They'll win, and it won't be that competitive, but be ready. Rachaad White is coming to town, and I think that is a new kid in town for fantasy. He is going to take off and become a very solid RB2. I think he could be at least a flex. So be on the lookout for him. I think he will make an impact in the rushing game in this game. Aside from that, there's not much you can really look at in the Bucks offense that you're really excited about, unless you're really hoping that Baker is good enough to produce for Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. But the offense for Minnesota is insane. Jay Jetta's in the receiving core, and Alexander Madison now taking the reins at running back. That'll be an interesting look, but I think he'll do just fine. Minnesota will win this pretty handily, but keep on the lookout for Rachaad White.
Gotcha. All right. Look at Ben giving his little takes there. We got next. The next game is Arizona Cardinals at the Washington Commanders. This is gonna be, honestly, this is actually my prediction of a blowout. I think it's gonna be a complete blowout. I don't think the Cardinals are gonna put up a single point. They might put up a field goal. That's about it. All I'm giving them. I think it's gonna be like a 20-0 game. Commanders winning it easy.
Seven. Go ahead.
I don't disagree. I don't think it'll be quite as bad as you say it is. I see it as more of like a 23-7, 23-10. But I'm hoping Dobbs. I love Dobbs. I hope he can get in there and do something good for the Cardinals. But as crappy as that team is with a brand new coaching staff, it just doesn't look likely. And so I'm riding the Commanders all the way.
I'm really interested to see how this game pans out in the offensive scheme of things. A lot of people have talked about James Conner in that offense. I'm really curious to see if the O-line can hold up in order for him to get those yards and get that production. It'll be interesting to see because I don't see the passing game making much of an impact in that game. I would expect that it's going to rely a lot on the offensive line, which has signed Dennis Daly, actually. So that's already a step in the wrong direction.
They also got Paris Johnson, who's going out there, and he's going to have to prove himself. It's a whole new animal from what he's experienced in college.
Hey, Paris Johnson was one of the most athletic linemen I've seen in college. He was very good, very sound. I think he'll be just fine as far as that goes. He might have a few missteps because it's first game jitters, but I would expect Washington to kind of steadily walk away with this one. I don't know if I would say blowout, but I think they'll steadily walk away throughout the course of the game.
I'm with Dawson. I think Commanders are blowing out the Cardinals. The Cardinals this year are abysmal. I could see them going 0-16 this year. I mean, I think it's a 7.5 point spread. If I could, I'd put it at a 20 point spread and still take the Commanders.
Well, you can on alternate spreads on FanDuel.
That's true.
Looks like I'm downloading FanDuel and putting a 20 point spread on the
We're not
Commanders.
Sponsored. Not sponsored by FanDuel, but yes,
Could be.
We could be.
FanDuel sponsors.
I use FanDuel. I put all my.
No,
parlays
I've never done sports betting, but with this going on, I honestly might start.
I'm going to do a little small video on parlays. Look forward to that.
Just for anyone watching, don't make parlays. Don't do that.
Always make parlays. Always
Always.
make parlays.
Do
Don't
not
listen
make
to Ben.
parlays. That's how you lose your money.
And yeah, you're
Or
right.
make a bunch of money.
How many parlays have you hit that are over 5 legs?
0 because I haven't put any parlays yet.
3.
3. How many have you placed?
300.
Great question.
300. Yeah, that's
No. The important question is not how many you've hit in how many parlays. How much money have you made back? What's your net positive?
Have you recouped your losses?
There you go.
Pretty
If
close.
you made $305 bets, I would say that you still have not made your money back.
That's why you do
Depends on
$1
who you
bets.
bet.
You would be about even. You would be about even.
$1
Not
bets for
even.
like that $1 million range. That way it's like a 12-leg parlay. You know.
Please don't do that. That doesn't work. I tried it
It could
multiple
work.
times last year. It does not work.
Fair.
Could work.
Fair. Or make like 3 a week,
Could work.
like I'm doing. But beside the point. Next up, 49ers at Steelers. Very interesting matchup here. I actually think it's going to be a really challenging game for Brock Purdy for his first opening actual game, like full first start of the season game against Steelers, who have a really high-powered defense. I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring compared to like what 49ers can maybe do. I think CMC is going to have a really challenging time starting off against a Steelers defense. But I still take the 49ers here pretty easy. The Steelers offense I don't think can keep up with the 49ers offense, and the defenses match up pretty well, but I think the 49ers still have the stronger defense. And I think it just leads out to probably being like a 13-10, 13, maybe 17-10 type game, one-score game. But, yeah, I think the 49ers.
I agree. I think this is going to be a heavily defensive game. Both teams, phenomenal defenses. And like you said, it'll be a challenge for Brock Purdy. With TJ Watt coming off the edge, I don't think he might have experienced something like that, but that's rough to, get your first ever, week 1 start. But I think it's 49ers by a 1.5.
Do we have a Steelers fan in this call?
I don't think so.
No.
Well, in that case, there was someone in our fantasy league last year that was a big Steelers fan.
Back.
I will give this one for them. I'm taking the Steelers to walk away with this one week 1.
Respect.
Steelers always come out pretty good in week 1, it seems. And I think they probably shock Brock Purdy and the 49ers. I think the pass rush is too much for Purdy to handle this week right here. And I could see, while their offense is not very high-powered, I think George Pickens will make enough catches and Harris will get enough yards to eke them past the 49ers for a close win.
I'm going to jump on the back of my MVP candidate, taking the Steelers all the way. I'm going to say 1 game, 3 sacks for TJ Watt, coming out hot this year.
Against that O-line? Man,
It's TJ Watt.
it's fair. All right.
TJ Watt.
We'll move on to the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. And man, I really wanted to pick the Browns here. I really did, because I really think they're going to do well this season. But I can't doubt the Bengals in the opener and on a season. I think they're going to be red hot. especially against a kind of growing team in the Browns. Are still getting used to things, and maybe it's going to be a slower start for them. So I think the Bengals are already ready to go and starting the season, have something to prove. So I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals.
I completely agree. Uh, as you know, I'm high on the Bengals. Had Joe Burrow winning MVP, had Jamar Chase winning uh, OPOY, and I had the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. I think they come out, they show that high-powered offense off. They put 28 on the Browns, even more maybe. I think the Bengals run away with this one. I think it's close in the first quarter, maybe even in the second quarter. I think the Bengals run away in this.
Yeah, I'm on that train. I think Bengals will probably win this game by a couple touchdowns. I don't think it's going to be very close. It's going to take Sean Watson to be what he once was in order for this game to be close. I don't know if he will show that. He definitely didn't show it in his return last year, but we'll see after an offense has grouped up over the course of the offseason if he can get it together or if it'll be kind of like last season.
All right, here's my bet hedging, trying to get that one game advantage. I'm taking the Browns. Um, the spread is so small in this game. Someone's got to know something.
Vegas
He's
always
got the script. He's got the script.
I got the script for the year, boys. I'm telling you. The okay, you're telling
The
me that the
TJ Watt
Browns.
MVP script.
You're telling me that the Browns are hosting the Bengals, and the Bengals, who one of the best teams in all of football, and they are only half a point behind them. I'm taking the Browns, and I'm hoping that since you guys all picked the Bengals, that's my one win that sneaks me up into first. And then I can just keep whatever you guys keep all year and just keep that one game advantage all the way to the end. Win the pick 'em.
We're we're gonna start making you put your picks in first.
Yeah.
You can do that.
um,
Mine are all already picked on my phone.
Interesting. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. Honestly, flip a coin, and this game can go either way. I think the reason I'm going to go Falcons only because I think that they don't have, I guess, Sam Howell, I guess, or not. Wait.
Nope.
Nope. Desmond.
Nope.
Gosh dang. No, that's not. Nah, I always mix up Commanders and
Desmond
Falcons.
Ritter.
QB. Desmond Ritter. Desmond Ritter's kind of has already been in the system. While Bryce Young is still getting used to it. That's kind of my only difference there. I think the Falcons are overall better team built versus the Panthers right now, and Bryce Young's still getting used to being in the NFL. Well, I at least think Desmond Ritter has had some experience there. So give me the Falcons, but they can go either way.
I'm on the opposite. I got the Panthers here. Panthers have a good defense. I think Brian Burns has a monster game. I think Bryce Young comes out, puts all those height allegations behind him, and I think he proves that he's an absolute stud. Now, granted, the Falcons do have a good secondary. I think there'll be a lot of drag routes, hitch routes, stuff like that, something close just to get him warmed up. I honestly don't think Bijan Robinson comes out and is all they say he is. As we see in the past several years, with exceptions from like the Titans and stuff, the run game just isn't as important as it even was 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I don't think that with Desmond Ritter, I don't have a lot of faith in. I think the Panthers shut down the run game. I think the Panthers are on top.
You know I have to go with BY9 to absolutely torch this Atlanta defense this game. He's got to do it. That's the Alabama way. So, Panthers on top.
Dawson, I'm leaving you on your hill to die alone. I got the Panthers over the Falcons. Even with Bijan, I still don't think the Falcons got it this week. I think Bryce Young comes out, really puts on a show and puts the Falcons down.
I think Dawson has become the perpetual target for this video.
I guess so, man. Like, dang.
He's climbing up a lot of hills and not living not living at the top.
No.
That's what he gets for always going first, because then we just can talk shit on
Yeah,
him
we can
every
pile on
single
him.
time.
Well, sorry. Do y'all have the list of games in front of you in right order?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, then you know
I
what?
have the list of games in a slightly different order, but yeah.
Okay, then Treythan, take us off for this next one then.
Okay, so next game we have Texans at Ravens. Personally, I want to see C.J. Stroud do good. I want to see Will Anderson do good. But the Ravens, I mean, they're coming out. Lamar Jackson coming out wanting to prove something. He's got OBJ, who I'm not sure. I had him as my comeback player. Obviously, DeMar Hamlin's going to win, but I think they've bolstered his wide receiver core. I think J.K. Dobbins, is he back and healthy? If he is, I think.
Don't know if he's been cleared yet.
Well, I think Dobbins is healthy. I think it's a contract negotiation that he is
Okay.
looking
That's
for.
probably what it is.
Regardless of that, I think this is a lot closer than Ravens fans want it to be, but I'm still taking the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens. I mean, I think Mar puts the Texans down this week and uses those legs of his. Maybe throws a few here and there, but I think Lamar's going to run all over him this week.
Ben?
I think that the Ravens will pull this out in a close one. I agreed a lot with the first take here. I think it will be close. I think Will Anderson is going to pose a lot of trouble and flush Lamar out of the pocket a lot of the game. That's just what Will Anderson does. He's a grade A pass rusher. The secondary is a little weak. Jalen Petrie will be enough, I think, to cover either Odell or Mark Andrews, whichever way they want to put him, wherever they want to put his zone. But I think the run game might be a little too much. It's really the Ravens' defense. I think John Harbaugh is not going to let C.J. Stroud come in his NFL debut, torch his defense like that. While Belichick is known to be the one to really screw up rookie QBs like that with looking at their defense, I think John Harbaugh has the same potential. He's probably not going to let C.J. Stroud come in there and beat them like that. He got a bad taste in his mouth week 1 last year when Derek Carr came in and stole the game from him. That is not something that John Harbaugh normally does. So I think Ravens will come back, but get it in a close one.
I have the Ravens as well. I don't think Texans. Again, I don't see them doing very, very well. I think they'll pick up some steam in the middle and then kind of drop off near the end, but definitely not against the Ravens. They're not going to take a win against the Ravens. So I agree. I agree with the crowd here this time, not getting shit on. So we'll move on to Jaguars at Colts. And this time, you know what, Ryan? You start us off.
I mean, I got the Jags. I have no faith in Anthony Richardson at all. I think week 1, he's not doing much for him, and the Jags are going to take this one.
I completely agree. I know a lot of NFL analysts have said Anthony Richardson has a very high ceiling, and I agree. But I also think, like Dawson said, it'll speak of basement. I think he hits the basement. I think he's a complete bust. I think he's Cam Newton without an arm. So I'm taking Jaguars on top.
You got to be careful when you say without an arm because he does have a cannon.
Oh, he is a cannon. It's just he can't place anything.
His placement is very off, but you have to be careful when you say without an arm because he does have strength.
Yes, I did misspeak though. He has an absolute cannon. Not as good as Joe Milton's, obviously, but
Oh, it's better.
yeah, it's just his place.
Those are two very similar quarterbacks, in my opinion.
I can see that.
He's very athletic on the feet, however. I would see the Jags walking away with this one, but be ready. Ingram, look for him for an early touchdown or 2. Tight ends always succeed in Doug Peterson's offense. He's a very big fantasy breakout to watch out for.
He did good last year.
Mm-hmm. Definitely standout performance last year. I think 175 points and a half PPR. That's pretty good. I'm also going to take the Jaguars. I don't see them losing this early in the season. Again, I think it's Trevor Lawrence this year. Anthony Richardson, I think he's going to struggle beginning, just like all rookie QBs, especially against the Jaguars. I feel like are just going to outscore them. Maybe the defense won't give them as much problem, but they're going to outscore them. Then we'll move on to Packers at Bears. And man, again, I want to take the Bears here. I really do, but I decided I'm going to stick with the trend here. The Packers have a good defense. I think Justin Fields not going to quite get the early game start to anything. I think Jordan Love is going to do suitable enough in the first game to just eke out a victory. I think it's going to be a close game. It's in Chicago, of course, but the Packers. Is it real? Does Aaron Rodgers really own the Bears, or does do the Packers own the Bears? And I think it's the Packers owning the Bears. Though, man, this would be a good upset. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually considering changing it on the fly, but I'm sticking with the Packers right now.
Well, honestly, the Bears are favored in this one by half a point. So
Really, that
I
changes.
honestly, but I'm still yeah. So I'm taking them. So I think the Packers beat the Bears. Like I agree with you. I think the Packers own the Bears, historically at least. It's I'm not high on the Jordan Love train, but I'd love to see him prove me wrong. Um, Even with that though, I still think the Packers roll over the Bears. I actually have Justin Fields as one of my busts this week. I think that Packers defense shuts him down. I don't see him doing good. Uh, but I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah, I think the Packers are very good at perimeter defense, and we saw a little bit of a flick of what that offense is going to be running in the preseason when they played their starters, the time routine. I think they're a big screen heavy offense with an occasional deep shot down the middle. Um, I think Green Bay is going to cover that well just because they're so good on the perimeter. Um, Back whenever they had the Smith brothers, they were absolutely insane on setting the edge. And I think that's a trend they've kept pretty well. So I would take the Packers in this one pretty handily.
Yeah, I'm not with.
Let's keep him with the trend then. So did you want to say anything else about that shoe?
No, Packers are going to win.
There you go. What about your Eagles at Patriots?
I mean, is there a shock on who I'm going to pick here?
I'm waiting for it.
I'm taking the Patriots. I don't think their starting offense has really been able to show anything this preseason. I think that may have been a Belichick plan. Don't show them what we're going to have week one by not really playing them, except for in practices and the inter squad stuff. I'm excited to see how Zeke and Ramondre do as that backfield duo this year. Last year, Ramondre definitely took a big workload, and I think it kind of tucked him out at the end of the year. But now that he has Zeke back there, I don't think their run game is going to have too much of an issue. And then we'll see how Mac Jones is. I'm not high up on Mac Jones. Really not high up on Coral, so we'll see how that all shakes out. I'm really hoping for that rumored Kyler Murray trade to happen for us, and then we got Kyler starting, and then we're a team, boys. But other than that, I don't know. I'm taking it more of as a Patriots fan because I can't choose against my own team personally.
Not to hurt your feelings, Shu, but I got Eagles all the way. I got Eagles making the Super Bowl this year. I think they're pissed off about their loss last year in that super close Super Bowl, fantastic Super Bowl. I'm taking Eagles by probably 13 points. I mean, 10 to 13 points. I think this will be not a close game. I think the Eagles show it from the start. I think the Patriots are always playing keep up, trying to catch them, and I don't think they ever will.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Big on the Eagles this game. Don't really have a fantasy pick for this game in particular, but I will say for the course of the season, watch out for Kenneth Gainwell. He's a late round sleeper. He's the RB3 on the Eagles roster right now. You may ask why. think about the last time you saw Rashad Penny or DeAndre Swift play a full season of football. Be ready for
I'm still
Gary
hoping they.
Ball.
I'm still hoping they get the Taylor Swift backfield. I'd love to see that. But as far as this game goes, I got AJ Brown as a boom this game. I think he absolutely torches the Patriot defense. I think the Eagles put up 30 plus points. I think AJ Brown has one, maybe two touchdowns over 100 yards. I think AJ Brown lights this game up.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep with the trend here. Sorry, Chew, you're dying on the hill. Eagles are gonna take this. I almost, the Super Bowl slump. You could almost argue that they might get like an upset pretty early on, but I don't see them doing it against the Patriots. We'll talk about that for coming weeks, but I do see early upset coming from coming against the Eagles, but it's not gonna be from the Patriots.
Yeah, I see it as a little different, Dawson. I didn't walk up a hill.
I
I
don't
just
think he's
handed you
dying
guys
on
the
any
shovels and let you guys dig further into the ground with those picks.
Okay.
I stayed on level ground. I'm not really going up too high on it, but
leave the call and come back.
Next up is Rams at Seahawks. Man, I want to pick the Rams here, but I'm not picking Seattle. I don't even know if the Rams are going to do very well, and especially in the early goings. I don't know if they'll even want to try in the early goings, but Seahawks have something to prove. They're fighting for that playoff spot. Well, I think the Rams are just hoping that they don't just, I'm just hoping that they suck or that they tank enough to get a good draft pick. So I'm going Seahawks. Pretty simple and to the point.
I completely agree. Although I said I wasn't high on Geno Smith, I think the Rams, I think their defense looks good on paper. I think it's paper mache. I don't think their defense, I think their secondary is terrible. They lost Jalen Ramsey. Troy Hill, I think they lost him as well. I don't see. I think the pass rush is still decent. I mean, Aaron Donald, he's the greatest pass rusher in the game right now. He has been for some time. I don't see the Rams winning this. I think their offense won't do too bad. I mean, you still got Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford. I think Cam Akers wants to show out this game. I think it'll be a high-scoring game with both offenses going off. But I think the Seahawks shows what the Rams defense really is, and that's trash.
I think I will be the one who's different here. I'll take the Rams week 1. I think that this is going to be a little bit of a turnaround season. I'm not expecting them to be for last year. I'm expecting them to make a comeback this year. It starts in week 1. McVay is one of the best offensive minds in the game. Done. Whether that's passing to Cooper Kupp and the rest of the receivers, or if that's letting Cam Akers and Sony Michel take it on the ground. But I think it'll be a good mix of the two, and Rams taking this by about 4 or 5 points.
Interesting.
this was the hard one for me to pick because there's no spread on this game.
Oh, it's even. That's right.
There is
That's
no
even.
betting the spread on this game. It is a 0-0, and I got to take Seattle at home. We'll see. I mean, I could live to regret that, but who knows? I know the Rams got something, but as a bust on my list, just because of a recent injury that he's been suffering, I have Cooper Kupp busting this week. He's not 100%. They thought he would be. He just suffered a setback. I don't even know if he hits the field this week. And without him, I don't see them doing too much. And even half of him being an injured player out there, I don't see them really taking on Seattle very strongly. I'm taking Seattle here. Close game, but I think Seattle takes this one.
I think one thing we look over, I mean, you look at college atmospheres and stuff, like the home field advantage is very big in college football. I think there's still a big home field advantage in the NFL. Why it's not as prominent as it is in college, I still think there is that home field edge that a lot of teams get, and I think the Seahawks are right there up top with the Chiefs. I think they're the home of the 12th man in the NFL for a reason. And I really think that the Seahawks do come out on top. And I think fans play a big part in that.
I mean, I'll tell you why it's not as big of a thing in the NFL, because you don't have a bunch of drunk college kids. You may have a bunch of drunk adults, but they still got to go to work. College kids, we can skip a Monday class, and we don't have to do that. It's Saturday night. What do we have to do on Sunday? Unless you're a church-going, God-loving person, we get drunk on a Saturday watching our boys play, and we are hungover Sunday, and then we're ready for class on Monday.
That's fair. Fair points. Also, I think it's just because college football. I mean, you inherently have a more core fan base there of alumni, diehards that live around the area versus NFL, which is more entertainment more than almost a big fan base. Of course, you have some exceptions like the Bills Mafia, and of course Philadelphia. But yeah, I agree with those points.
College fans just don't travel as well.
That's true.
College fans do not travel as well. Where you're born and kind of where you grow up, that's the team you're going to pick. In general, which is also the same with football, but with football, you never know. I mean,
I don't think that it's college fans don't travel as much. I know we're getting kind of off topic here, but I don't think it's that college fans don't travel as much. I think it's with the NFL having such fewer teams that, like Dawson said, fans are more spread out. And so, like, if the Rams are, well, we'll not say the Rams because they're both West Coast, like the Giants travel to Seattle, there's a higher possibility of there being Giants fans in Seattle that are going to go watch their team play. And I think with there being so few teams in the NFL compared to college, that's why the fan bases are like that.
Very valid. Move on to Dolphins at Chargers. Actually, it's probably one of the toughest games this week for me because, again, I think the Dolphins are just a big wild card question mark for me. I do have them eking out the win. I kind of just decided, I was like, you know what? I don't think the Chargers will take the early victory. I feel like they'll kind of gradually build up. Give the Dolphins the benefit of the doubt this week. I think they're going to come out explosive. Again, I don't see the Chargers. I think there's a lot of problems behind the scenes of the Chargers, and I think it's going to show. It's kind of the main reason I decided to kind of go Dolphins here. But I could see this game being a big scoring game. I could see this game being a mid-scoring game. I could see it being low-scoring. I have no idea how this game's going to land. It's actually going to be really fun to watch when I think about it. But that's my pick, Dolphins.
As you know, I'm high on the Dolphins this year. Maybe not so much Super Bowl contenders, but I think they make a deep run in the playoff. I think they're second in the AFC East. Or, no, I had to finish first in the AFC East. I think they're the first place team in the AFC East. I know that the Chargers are favored here. I love Justin Herbert. He's an Oregon guy. He did fantastic his rookie year. He's been doing solid ever since. But I just think that Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tua combo gives them the 1-2 punch that they need to get over this Chargers decent secondary.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take the Chargers here. I'm going to have to take the favorite. I think overall, the Chargers offense is going to show you what the new and revamped look is like with Kellen Moore at OC. I really see touch that I have is Austin Eckler because I think he's going to start losing touches because of how high-powered this offense is. They're going to be passing the ball a lot. I think they're going to have a lot of success with it. I think they will blow that Miami defense out of the water.
Fair.
Yeah, I got the Chargers. I mean, I'm not cheering for the Dolphins at all this year.
Dang.
I hate the Dolphins.
What a Dolphin hater. All right. Well, good little split there. Next up is Raiders at Broncos. Ben, you want to start us off on this one?
Oh, yeah, looking at this game, this is a couple of teams that underperformed heavily last year in interdivision matchup. When you look at it, you look at both sides of the ball. I think you have to look at coaching over anything, and I think Broncos have the superiority there between Sean Payton and Josh McDaniels. They've got more quality players between Russ Wilson, Court Sutherland, Jared Jeudy, Javonte Williams, bearing he comes back from injury. Um, I think that group of players is going to hold up better on the offensive end of the ball, and the Broncos defense is probably going to shut down the Raiders outside of Josh Jacobs getting his normal carry and workload. So I've got Broncos by 7 points in a game probably of similar fashion to the Titans Saints game, just a nasty defensive gross slugfest that I wouldn't recommend watching unless you're a fan of either of those teams.
I'm gonna pull a little bit of a unsponsored sponsored thing here, but for all you alcoholics out there that don't want to give up drinking, just go 0. Just like the Raiders scoreboard will show this week, they're not scoring a point.
Dang.
Is that empty?
Broncos all the way. No, that's why don't?
Oh my sleep.
I agree. I think the Broncos, with the very underwhelming season they had last year, I think Russ is pissed off. He's not doing those absolutely terrible commercials right now. I think Sean Payton has came in and put a noose around all the bull crap that was going on in the locker room last year. I think the Broncos got this on lock. I don't think Jimmy G is the answer for the Raiders. I don't think anything's the answer for the Raiders. The Raiders suck. I think the Broncos win this by a decent margin.
Side note, we do condone drinking today. It is Labor Day, so
As long as you're 21.
I
As long
condone.
as it's 21.
Hey, you can buy this in most places without an ID. There is no alcohol in it. It's beer flavored soda, boys.
Yeah, that's fair. That's valid. The worst part about the beer is the alcohol, obviously.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Yeah, I gotta go with the trend here. Broncos taking it home. I honestly, if it was almost any other team in this league, I probably would be betting against the Broncos early on, but I can't. They're in Mile High. They're against the Raiders. I can't bet against them for this game since it's one of the few divisional games I feel like they can win. So I'm taking them.
I don't think it's Mile High Stadium anymore. Isn't it like Sports Authority Park or something like that? Sports Authority Stadium?
Is it not?
Or Sports Authority Field?
Wait, what?
Pretty sure they changed the name.
They did?
I think they changed the name. Yeah, I think they changed
you're
it
a
from Mile
Broncos
High
fan.
to Sports Authority.
I normally get that notifications on my phone.
I think they did that last year, didn't they?
No.
They might have.
Well, it's still called Mile High Stadium.
I think they still call it Mile High Stadium, but I think they changed the name to Sports Authority Field or something like that.
Oh,
I think it's
okay.
I think it's Sports Authority Field at Mile High Stadium.
Yeah.
Okay,
I see what
okay,
you're
then
saying
that's
now.
what-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I knew about that, but I thought the stadium
Never mind.
name changed.
I was
No,
wrong.
It's still Mile High. Come on, it's
Kinda-
still
kinda
Mile
like
High,
it-
boys. What are you saying, Chu?
So I think it's kind of like at UTM where we have Hardy Graham Stadium
Mhm.
and someone's name is on the field.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it is something like that. But no, it's still Mile High. Come on, boys. Cowboys at Giants. I actually, since I did hear about one of those games turning the what's it called, the Packers being the underdogs in their game, I'm actually gonna change my game from I picked Giants originally, Cowboys at Giants. I'm going Cowboys instead this time. Early season, I think the Giants are gonna get a wake up call. I think they'll improve throughout the season, but I think the Cowboys are just high-powered defense. It's gonna be hard for them to keep up, especially this early in the season with so much momentum riding on the Cowboys doing well. While I think the Giants will have a lot to prove, and I think it's going to start off on a weaker foot this year than they did last year. Originally, I did have the Giants because I think it was one of my more favorite upsets that I wanted to put in there, but it's going to be a closer game. It's going to be more lower scoring, but I have the Cowboys winning here.
As you guys know, I'm high on the Giants this year. I think they finished second in the East. With that being said, I don't think they're an early season team. I think we saw that last year. I think they make a huge push at the end of the year. I think Cowboys come out and win this. Maybe not big. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be an offensive game. Although the Cowboys do have a very good defense. with it being an offense, I think there'll be a lot of yards, not a lot of touchdowns. I think there'll be a lot of 20, 30-yard field goals. But I still see the Cowboys winning this.
Let's see. Yeah, Cowboys. There's not much thought for me behind this. That's like a 35-17 type of game for me.
Dang.
Giants defense can't hold it. I think it's honestly just like their playoff game last. They didn't have a playoff game. That was the Eagles. It's just like the Giants and Eagles playoffs game.
No, the Giants made the playoffs
Yeah,
last year.
Giants played the Vikings, didn't they?
Giants played the Vikings, and I think they
No.
did.
I was saying I almost said I guess I did say the Giants played the Cowboys in the playoffs last year. But
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Eagles and Giants game. But
Yeah.
it's probably going to be like that, where Cowboys defense shuts them down, pass rushes too much, Times has no support in the receiving department, and that front seven is going to contain Saquon Barkley. Mark it as a bust. That is not somebody you want unless you are okay with 10 points out of your RB1.
I have Saquon Barkley as a bust as well.
Dang.
Yeah, you guys know I've been hard on the Cowboys, and it's not changing. Giants over Cowboys.
You know what Shu is really doing is that he's getting himself to an early shot in the foot where he has to take these other stupid teams and then keep on spiraling out of control.
Yep.
The script is
Watch literally every bad take he's made today pan out in his favor, and he goes up on us by like 4 games.
You know what? If Shu hits like all 16 of his games, I'll allow each one of you to slap me as hard as you want on video.
Are we doing
Dawson, I know where you work. I will walk into your office, and Jody will laugh when I do it.
That's true. What's up,
Are we
Dan?
doing an eliminator?
We
I don't think we're
can.
doing an eliminator.
No.
We're doing we're doing what Shu just sent us with the pick 'em.
We can do eliminator
You
at the very end here.
You pick all 16 games, and then it keeps your standings as what happens throughout the year.
Okay, so he kept. I assume that's in my Gmail.
Cool.
Whichever email you gave Shu. I
Yeah,
thought you
your
gave him your school email.
Yeah, your school
Yeah.
email.
You gave me the school email.
Yep, there it is. Okay. That makes sense. I was wondering. I was like, why is he asking for my email? Makes sense now.
Finally, we have the last game of this week. We have Bills at Jets, and man, I think the Jets are going to do very, very well. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to show out. I feel like the defense is going to really outperform and really show the Bills and really do a wake up call to the Bills. With that said, I'm picking the Bills to win this. I think it's going to be a 3-point game difference. I think it's going to literally come down possibly even to a game-winning field goal. I think the Bills are going to get. I think the Jets are going to take the first half. I think so, and scare the Bills, and I think the Bills will kind of come back and really take place and say, hey, you know what, we're still going, and kind of give also the Jets a little bit of wake up call too, that they have to stay consistent throughout the whole game rather than just explode out. I feel like it's going to be explosive from the Jets. I feel like I don't know. I feel good about Aaron Rodgers there, and I feel good about their defense. But the Bills are still a powerhouse. I still don't doubt their team. I don't doubt the coaching staff. Don't doubt their offense or their defense to be able to keep up the points on both ends of the field. I'm taking the Bills.
I think this is going to be the best game of week 1. With that being said, I didn't put Bills in third place for the AFC East without a reason. I'm taking Jets over the Bills. I think Aaron Rodgers goes out there, does what he needs to do. I think Garrett Wilson pops off. I think the Jets defense puts a muzzle on the Bills. I think the Jets win by 10+ points.
I think this is a very interesting matchup. You got some new looks all the way around. Aaron Rodgers will probably show you that Garrett Wilson is his new young Devontae Adams. That's probably what's going to happen. Garrett Wilson's going to have a great year in fantasy. You also have a new look on the Buffalo side of the offense with James Cook starting at running back this time. A bit of an upgrade, in my opinion, over Devin Singletary, who was the starter last year. Primarily shared carries, but James Cook looks like he's going to take the majority of the carries, I would say. I think that they will have an upgraded rushing attack. I think the Bills will probably handily win this one, and the Jets will show you that they're probably a middle of the road team. I don't think Saleh is gonna that inept of a game plan, but I think show you that he is not as complex as the rest of the coaches. I don't know that he quite has the ability to game plan and coach like Sean McDermott does. I don't think the Jets offense is able to compete with the Rams defense on the high level.
Bills
Like
defense.
the Rams defense will be able to compete with the Jets.
Bills.
Jeez. All right, we're just
Okay,
going
let's
to cut
let it.
all that. We're going to have to cut
Now
all
we
that.
leave it.
Nah, we leave it. It's one take, boys.
Oh, my gosh.
One take. Everyone knows the rules.
Labor Day scramble right there. Yeah, Bills by 17.
Holy
Good God, this is
That's the exact opposite of what I said. I said Jets by 10 plus.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take a Stephen A. Smith take here for a second. Everyone's heard of this stay off the weed. Yeah. Rodgers needs to stay off the ayahuasca. Otherwise, the Bills are going to shove it up there. I'm not gonna make us beep anything else out. But everyone knows where I'm going with that. Bills by 1 million. I don't think Rodgers is who he used to be. Too many psychedelic drugs, too much Percocet when he plays, and I don't think the Jets are gonna have it this week. Bills all the way.
The Hat Man is going to be playing corner over there, Gordon Garrett Wilson, dude.
I don't condone
You got to
this.
watch out.
I don't condone this
Rodgers.
this hatred towards the Jets.
I don't either. I like the Jets this year. I'm telling you right now. The Bills are finishing in third place in the AFC East. Dolphins first, Jets second, Bills third. Granted, they still make the playoffs, but Bills are finishing third.
Well, now that we are through the games, what are the Labor Day plans? We drinking any beer today? What are we doing?
Well, we still got to get through our booms and busts.
Yeah, we gotta get to the booms and bust.
But we can do the
We
Labor
can
Day
have
plan.
we can have a segment here over what we're doing for Labor Day.
A whole lot of nothing. I'm working, so
Oh yeah, you work at like 9.
I'm laboring on Labor Day.
Man,
Lovely.
I am doing absolutely nothing.
I'm probably editing videos.
Well, I guess I will pick up everyone's slack and drink today.
That a boy.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That's our Ben.
Getting drunk for me. Just
I
turned
can't-
21 last week.
I can't get too drunk. We have class tomorrow. So.
Also very valid.
I'm
Just
just glad I
turned-
didn't have to go to my 8 a.m. class today.
Oh.
Well, before this tangent
So
gets
thankful I
gets
don't
even
have
further,
8 a.m. this semester. I'm so thankful.
before this tangent gets any further, thank you guys for watching our NFL Week 1 predictions. Comment down below your hot takes and your big predictions this week. Do you agree with us? Who do you agree with the most? And put down your game predictions down below. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.